How did you become aware of opportunities and scholarships?
I became aware of opportunities and scholarships because I have always been a go-getter and I knew I wanted a higher education. So when I was in high school, I went to my career counselor and I asked her, hey, is there college career counselor? I asked her, I said, hey, is there any like scholarships or any opportunities that are geared for high school seniors? I'm interested. And so whenever she would get at the time, like the applications, because at that time there were hard copy applications, not computerized, she would be like, hey, Teresa, here's this application, fill it out. So I would fill out so many applications that it would get tiring. But at the end, I knew that one or two I would get. But if not, at least I felt happy that I applied. When we graduated, I received so many scholarships. I was very blessed, but I worked hard, right, to apply and maintain my good grades. And there were some students who were like, why did you get so many scholarships? Because I asked, because I focused and I applied for them, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't give me a scholarship. So I think being proactive of asking for help and asking for those opportunities, because sometimes these opportunities don't necessarily come. You have to look for them or you have to create them. Or even when you show that enthusiasm, responsibility, and that you're really interested in something, people start recognizing that and they start recommending you like, hey, there's this new opportunity, you should contact so and so. And that's how these opportunities sort of start coming to you. And one of the things that I previously stated was that through my summer internship program that I did at Charles Drew University, when I was a junior in high school, that was actually through a nomination from my counselor, my high school counselor. She saw in me the potential I had, and she asked me if I was interested, and I said yes, and she nominated me. Thanks to that nomination and that I applied, that opportunity opened doors that I did not know existed. And from there on, since they knew, the director and the staff member knew that I was going to be applying and that I wanted to go to California State University, Dominguez Hills in Carson, California, they were like, hey, there's this other program called the Minority Biomedical Research Support Program that you should apply and get more research experience. Go talk to Dr. Laura Robles. And I was like, oh, okay. So when I applied, I went and I spoke with the director, which was Dr. Robles. And she said something like, oh, well, you're a freshman, come when you're a sophomore and we can talk about an opportunity in the program. When I became a sophomore, I went back and I knocked on her door and I showed that initiative, that, in interest. And she really applauded for that, because I showed her that I was interested and that I wasn't playing a game or anything, that I really wanted that opportunity. And from there on, that was the initiation of my career in science. And she introduced me to SACNAS, the organization that I mentioned. And from there on, she was a mentor who told me, spread your wings. Don't just stay in California. Learn, and then you can come back and make a difference, but spread your wings. And look how I spread my wings to the East Coast. And who knows when, but I definitely want to come back to California. And like I said, I'm still trying to figure out what my next steps are. But in the meantime, I'm making the best of my opportunities, learning, but also making a difference. And one thing I do give advice when students are applying for college, if you're involved in sports or an extracurricular activity, demonstrate how you are involved in these activities where you work with other people, teamwork, where you can also show your leadership skills and how effective that communication can be. So you're learning that now. So use that. If you love music, the same thing. Like you're admiring art, but yet how can you use that in your next steps of your career? And how can you use that to help the community? Well, this has been great. And I hope that we stay connected and that someone really learned something about this conversation and is not afraid to break walls to reach their dreams and not let obstacles or certain circumstances or even like negative words, because there's always going to be people who are judging us. But if you have faith and you have that confidence in yourself, anything is possible. And one thing that I've learned is that most of us, I've had that too. We suffer from sometimes the imposter syndrome when I was a student. And even sometimes at this age, it's like, oh my gosh, am I good enough to do this? Am I good enough to reach this? But you really have to believe it. And yes. And I think from all the experiences, kind of bad experiences that I have faced, they've given me strength and also given me that push. I mean, I don't need a push because I can get my stuff done, but I guess that extra push to be like, you know what, that's what you think, but this is what I want to do. And I've been able to obtain all the goals that I set my mind to. And I said through actions, individuals who didn't believe in me are going to see my success. I don't have to say anything. And confidence, it's something that you learn throughout each step of the way of your education, your career. Because if you were to ask me this when I was younger, I think I was a little more shyer. Now, I'm like, if I don't try to apply for, like, say, a fellowship, even now at this age, like a leadership program or an external fellowship for something, I won't know, right? So let me just put myself out there and apply. And if I don't get it, well, it's okay. But at least I know that I did my best. And also, one last thing I'll say is that it doesn't matter where one comes from. Like, I grew up in Compton and went to Compton public schools. And from Compton, I went to Cal State Dominguez Hills. And then there, I took time off where I did my post-bac program. But I say from Compton to an Ivy League school. So I made it to Brown University for my doctorate. So if I could do it, anyone can do it too. They can achieve their goals.